The Story of the Great Leader, a biography of George Washington in detail.
On February 22, 1732, the future leader of the United States, George Washington, is born at his parents' home in Westmoreland, Virginia. As a child, he is already introduced to labor on his family's plantation, where his connection to nature and agriculture begins. From a young age, George performed his duties on the farm, learning responsibility and hard work. Although his education was basic, young Washington showed an interest in knowledge and literature. Inheriting a plantation at a young age, George quickly learned the hard work and his first lessons in leadership. George Washington's early years are the foundation upon which his majestic destiny was built. (1753). Young George Washington enters a whirlwind of events during a period of strained relations between the colonists and the French. As a young diplomat, Washington carries an important message to the French colony, beginning his military and diplomatic journey. Courage in deeds and wisdom in words. Washington signs important documents, beginning his diplomatic journey. Tense diplomacy, a foreshadowing of future conflicts. 1754. Battle of Fort Necessity. George accepts the first challenge of battle in an attempt to defend his land. Accounts of his bravery circulate in the press, creating a legend about the young officer. George's diplomatic efforts. He fights for the interests of the colonies in the diplomatic arena. He wins the support of the Indians, building important alliances for future conflicts. 1755. George joins the British Army, beginning his military career in the structure. He becomes part of the colonial forces, fighting in the Franco-Indian War, defining his path in the art of warfare. He participates in the defense of forts, raising the American flag as a sign of strength and solidarity. George becomes a respected military leader, offering his strategic visions at a council of war. For his outstanding military exploits, George Washington is promoted to rank, affirming his military prowess. With a sense of accomplishment, George returns home where his family awaits him. Thus ends the first phase of George Washington's military career. (1759). George Washington enters a new phase of life by marrying Martha Custis. The Washington family blossoms. Children become the foundation of family happiness. The Washingtons become the center of social life, hosting guests and maintaining friendships. He remains a man of education, devoting time to reading and enriching his mind. Owning a plantation becomes a labor process. George is actively involved in the management of his property. Family dinners at Mount Vernon are a time when the Washingtons are united in love and support for one another. The Washingtons are actively involved in political discussion, debating the future of the colonies and their freedom. 1774. George Washington is elected to the Continental Congress, beginning a new phase of his service. He leaves home, ready to serve his country again at a time of increasing tensions. George heads out to serve again, a foreshadowing of the changes to come. (1775). George Washington takes command of the Army of the Colonies. The tumultuous years of the Revolution begin. On June 17, 1775, the Battle of Bunker Hill takes place, where Washington displays a mastery of tactics and determination. Washington's strategic moves, including the capture of Fort Ticonderoga, turn the tide of the war in favor of the colonies. On July 4, 1776, American independence is declared. Washington is among those at the origins of the new nation. The important Battle of Saratoga is fought on October 17, 1777. Washington continues his fight for freedom. The councils of war are the arena where Washington demonstrates his strategic wisdom. The climax is the Siege of Yorktown from September 28th to October 19th, 1781, which leads to victory and the end of the war. 1783, signing of the Treaty of Peace in Paris. Washington becomes a symbol of victory and freedom. Triumphal entry into New York, where Washington is greeted by an admiring crowd. Back to the farm in Mount Vernon. Washington builds a future in ordinary life. Conversation with James Madison. Washington realizes the need for constitutional reforms to strengthen the country. Unresolved problems under the old form of government. National challenges demand new answers. Constitutional Convention begins. Washington leads the process. Intense debate and deliberation. Washington plays a key role in resolving differences. September 17th, 1787, signing of the Constitution, birth of a new form of government. April 30th, 1789. George Washington takes the oath of office as the first President of the United States. Formation of the first cabinet. Washington gathers experienced advisors around him. He introduces a budget, laying the foundation of the financial system, promoting economic growth. Washington's diplomatic efforts, meetings with Indian chiefs to secure peace in the West. On December 1st, 1790, congressmen decided to build a capital city on the Potomac River. The new city was named Washington, D.C., in honor of the first President of the United States. (1797). Washington decides to step aside from the presidency as he prepares to bid farewell to the nation. Presenting his hand to his successor, John Adams. The great leader passes the administration of the country to the next generation. Return to Mount Vernon. Washington seeks peace in working on his farm. Life after the presidency. Washington follows events while staying centered. Letter to John Adams, in which Washington warns against political divisions and emphasizes the importance of unity. Moments of family happiness. Washington enjoys time with loved ones on his farm. A visit to the John Adams farm. Washington continues to be an important counselor and elder. Active lifestyle. Even in his final years, Washington keeps records and keeps track of his affairs. This is how his final years are completed. On December 14th, 1799, at age 67, George Washington died. George Washington is a farmer, a leader, and an enduring symbol of American history.
Thank you for joining me on the Chronicles of the History Lounge.